Hi, I'm Libby Stennes. I'm a shareholder at Greenberg Traurig. Greenberg Traurig is a proud sponsor of Women in Agribusiness, and I would like nothing more than to be sitting with you all in person and talking about something more uplifting than what I'm going to cover today. But the reality is, the world is dealing with the impact of COVID-19. The food and agribusiness supply chain is a critical infrastructure. We don't know today the full extent that COVID-19 will have on that supply chain, but for everything that each and every one of you are doing to keep things operational, thank you. When better than to rely on the Women in Agribusiness Network, to lean on each other, to learn from each other, and to help each other get through a crisis such as this. So if I can offer a few things today that help you as you think through what you need to know about your commercial relationships, that's what I'm going to try to do. You may find yourself in commercial disputes, whether those happen weeks or months or even a year from now. And I'm going to fast forward and tell you a few things that you need to know about that so that as you're making decisions right now in real time, you are best informed. First of all, if you find yourself in a situation when you can't perform under your contracts, it's going to be necessary that you have records that document what efforts you took to perform and what efforts were taken to mitigate damages. That can be necessary whether you're the party that's unable to perform or whether you're the party that's receiving notice from your supply chain partners. Take some time now to sit down with your team and think through how you're going to prepare those records and go over some best practices on making statements that are factual, concise, and supported with documentation. Second, you need to know what's in your contracts. And what I'm talking about there is you're looking for particular guardrails. Sometimes contracts already have terms that anticipate that the parties may not be able to completely perform. And if that's the case, you can get a sense of what those partial performance terms or what some of the options are to change terms may be. An example of that would include if you have a contract that would permit you to substitute in your supply chain, or that predefines who the alternative suppliers may be. Knowing that and making sure that the people that are working day to day are aware of what those guardrails are will help you as you're making decisions in real time. Your contracts also may have a force majeure clause. A lot is being said right now about force majeure. A lot of people are questioning whether COVID-19 will excuse performance under contracts. We don't have a one-size-fits-all answer to that, but what we do know is that the definition that's in the contract is going to be an important thing to start. The facts and circumstances around specifically what is impairing performance will also be necessary to analyze. Whether COVID-19 is going to meet that definition, it will depend on the terms of your contract, the applicable law, and the specific facts and circumstances leading to the impairment of performance. Finally, with all the information that is generated by the hour right now, you really need to have a system set up so that you're assimilating the specific developments that impact operations at your sites, the performance obligations that you're undertaking. Those would include all of the stay-at-home orders that are applicable. Those may include federal regulatory modifications, state and local regulatory modifications that change the guidance or obligations that you have at particular sites. And sometimes they can include legislation. An example would be the Defense Production Act. That law gives the government priority on orders. And you can imagine that as companies are fulfilling those obligations and have this prioritization to factor into supply chain, that can start to impact others waiting for fulfillment of their orders. And there are immunity provisions that are granted under the Defense Production Act that could have a carryover effect to your commercial obligations and your rights under your contracts. These are all just examples because as this information unfolds in real time, the circumstances will continue to change. But that hopefully gives you some ideas on what you need to do to get yourself organized. There are a lot of great resources out there and a lot of great allies that stand beside you in the food and agribusiness supply chain. So reach out, ask questions, stay calm, and stay safe. Thank you.